Our story uses 4 characters to move the narrative forward. The story starts with bus driver Li Qiang, who has a habit of going to the lottery shop every few days to buy a lottery ticket. It was a normal day. Before he started his night shift work, as usual, he came to the counter of the lottery shop to ask the boss if he won the prize. What he got was an expected answer, no. Then, Li Qiang dragged his leg to the model shop and ate a very simple and plain dinner. At this time, his colleague handed him a healthy declaration form. Fill in it, take it back as soon as possible with careful consideration. Li Qiang was silent. He fell into thought. The reality seemed to give him a blow. Then the scene turns to hospital. In fact, Li Qiang has a disease in his leg, but in order not to lose his job as a bus driver, he chose to hide it silently. The doctor told him it's more serious recently and requires surgery as soon as possible, but Li Qiang rejected because of the high medical expenses. Back to the roadside model shop, he finished his dinner in a heavy mood and then started driving his bus under the night. With the night getting darker, there are fewer and fewer pedestrians on the road. After driving for such a long time, Li Qiang was tired and his legs were trembling. Li Qiang tried to press the brake, but his stiff and aching legs could not do it. He almost hit the vehicle in front of him. After a few more stops, the passengers in the bus had already got off. Li Qiang parked the bus to the side of the road and slowly got off the bus. With his sweaty hands, he hurriedly took his painkiller out of his pocket and squeezed it into his mouth. After smoking to calm down, Li Qiang continued to drive. Soon, his leg began to pain again. Li Qiang's face was twisted and he looked very laborious. A sudden violent pain panicked Li Qiang. He clenched his teeth and tried to find a way to control the bus, but suddenly hit Wang Yiwei, who was running and crossing the road quickly. The scene of accident was messy, things scattered all over the road. Li Qiang passed out sitting in the driver's seat. Wang Yiwei fell to the ground and followed in reverse.
The story of Zhang Si begins when Zhang Si walks back to his office at the hospital. After greeting the colleagues, he pushes the office door and enters. Many patients hanging all around his office. In the office, one patient is already waiting for him to diagnose. After finishing diagnose, his patient showing gratitude to him and handing him a patient extremely careful and leave. Zhang Si looking around, making sure no one can see him. He unfolding the payments, a large amount of money coming out. So he quickly took out the money and putting money in a drawer, which is carefully hidden. Zhang Si hanging the payment on the wall, even enjoying appreciating the payments and puffing up with pride. The next patient come in. Zhang Si looking at the patient's X-ray image and said to the patient that he should have an operation to eliminate the congestion in his right leg, or he will hard to walk soon. Not until the patient say a word, Zhang Si can't wait to tell him a more expensive fee for operation to defund extra money as usual. But the patient feels hard to afford the 50,000 operational fee. Zhang Si persisted it is the lowest price and said it includes a necessary recovery cost, such that the patient raise money as soon as possible. Even points at the patient's on the wall to convince the patient that he is the most professional doctor. Sky darkening while Zhang Si walking on the street when he gets off work. Zhang Si witnessing some boys dragging a student into a deep and senior alley. He telling after them and see serious bullying. The boy abused Zhang Si when he found Zhang Si is looking at them. Starting for a while, Zhang Si dialing the police number and leave in a hurry.
Now, let me talk about the third rule. Wang Lei is owner of a lottery store. At the beginning of the story, several regular customers came into the store, and one of them jokingly discussed with Wang Lei why none of his recent lottery tickets won. Wang Lei seeking to silence. At that moment, Li Qiang came into the store and asking Wang Lei to help him check whether his ticket had won. Wang Lei showing joy on his face. He handing the ticket to the assistant secretly and carefully exchanging it for another one. The assistant also advising Wang Lei not to do such evil things again. Wang Lei graciously telling it's the last time to do that. At this time, Wang Lei receiving the call. He getting angry. He quickly tidying up, taking his briefcase and speeding off on his bicycle. Wang Lei rushing to the school, knocking the door and walking into an office. The director of discipline of his son taking out a dozen of disciplinary papers, and scolding Wang Lei that his son's mistake had affected his reputation. Wang Lei carefully pulling out a stack of sacred paper bags from his briefcase. The man pretended to refuse Wang Lei, but the anger had subsided. Wang Lei opening the paper bag, revealing the word of cash and promising that it's the last time. The last time. Really the last time. I promise to educate the stupid boy. Give him the works. Then, the man coughing and taking the stack of paper bags, Wang Lei back home, talking to his sons and nodded about what happened today. At that moment, there was a sorrow looking on Wang Yiwei's face.
This story is about the son of the lottery owner Wang Yiwei. At an early age, the lottery owner's son Wang Yiwei experienced a heated argument between his parents. His father tore up the family photo, then mother slammed the door and ran away from home. When his mother walked away, the son glued the family photo back together with tears. Because of his family, Wang Yiwei didn't have the heart to study hard. He was often bored with some things and had a bad temper as well as often skipped classes. So he made many bad friends and sometimes he liked playing violent games on his computer. Once, he had a quarrel with his classmates and beat him with his friends. When he got home, his father scolded him severely, but he didn't take it seriously. Then he ran away from home. In the middle of the night, Wang Yiwei and his friends got drunk in the street. After drinking too much, they got bored and wanted something exciting to do. They saw a boy go by, short and thin, and they thought, this student is too small. He must be easy to bully. Therefore, they stalked him in the school. Then they dragged him into an alley and then beat him. Soon after came the siren, and they started to run away. Wang Yiwei looked around, looking very confused. He didn't hesitate to run. Wang Yiwei was walking through an intersection. He ran so fast that he didn't see a moving bus. Suddenly, the headlights filled on his face. He realized he was going to be hit by a bus, but he was going too fast to get out of the way. So the accident happened. He was hit and fell to the ground. Some minutes later, the police arrived. When the police got in, they searched the bus very carefully, and the windshield broke all over the floor. 2 pieces of paper fell to the ground. There were a ticket from Wang Lei's lottery store and the card of the doctor who treated him.
Soon after, the lives of all 4 main characters were turned upside down because of this crash, which is supposed to be impossible, but happened. Li Qiang's legs were severely injured and he was paralyzed from the waist down, which means he lost his job permanently and he can never drive again. Also, he still doesn't have enough money to treat Foley, so he can only do some domestic therapy, which is not so much helpful. Li Qiang's accident led to an investigation to Zhang Si. He was soon found to be illegally profiting, taking advantages of his position. The penance which used to praise him was taken down. He was utterly discredited. At the court, the judge sentenced Zhang Si to 10 years in prison. Also, the fact of Wang Lei stealing Li Qiang's lottery prize revealed. Wang Lei's license to run the shop was withdrawn. The government shut the lottery shop down. Finally, Wang Lei walked into the cemetery to sow his dear son Wang Yiwei. Wang Yiwei was killed in this crash. At last, facing the gravestone of Wang Yiwei, Wang Lei burst into tears. Now we can understand the whole story clearly. What you think of as a fluke can be a source of a disaster. As long as Wang Yiwei doesn't bully his classmates, his father Wang Lei won't cover up his crime with money again and again until he can no longer support it. Then Wang Lei won't steal Li Qiang's lottery prize. At the same time, if Dr. Zhang Si didn't cheat Li Qiang could get the life-saving money and recover from his leg's ailment. He didn't have to risk an accident to continue driving bus, then he won't lose control of the bus at midnight. At the same time, if Zhang Si hadn't called the police to come after Wang Yiwei won't flee the scene in a hurry and crash into the runaway bus.
The next part is the highlight scenes. According to the story, we highlight some scenes and we explain them under the storyboards. The moment of crashing is what we call the highlight scene. The reason we choose this scene as the highlight scene is because this scene can be regarded as the effect of the whole story. Based on the three-step structure, this scene is the climax, which is quite important in this film. Also, this scene reflects what will be happened when all conflicts intertwine together. So let's see the moment of crashing. At night, after hearing the siren, Wang Yiwei begins to flee and look back. At this time, his emotion is frightened. When the siren getting closer, he ran to a crossroads. A shrilling car honk as a sound effect race. The audience will see a bus galloping to the junction. Li Qiang noticed the boy. This shot will be shot through the bus front glass. And then, a close-up shot will focus on Wang Yiwei's facial expression from the second point of view. Li Qiang tries to apply the brakes. He lifted his right leg and tried to press hard on the brake. But his right leg swerved out of control. A close-up shot focuses on his leg to enlarge his swerving. The bus crashed fiercely. Wide shot from the sky covers this scene. Shrilling fricative as a sound effect. Wang Yiwei lay face down on the ground unconsciously, a pool of blood under him. Background music fade in. Under a low key with background music, Li Qiang in the car is laying on steering wheel without moving. The police arrived and they discover a lottery ticket, Zhang Si's visiting card, and a license. The background music fades out and with a close-up shot, and the screen turns black. The highlight scene, the moment of crashing, ends. Moreover, we choose 4 more scenes as a clue of the highlight scene. The next few parts are the factors which push the story forward. They are the main cause of the climax. Without any of them, the climax can't be developed. They all caused by each character in the film and have an extremely tight connection. They also reflect the theme of the film, the domino effect and the result of a fluke. The first sequence shows the disease attacks bus driver Li Qiang. 2 close-up shots show Li Qiang thumps his right leg and top swallows the pills. With a cigarette dangling from his lips, he walks towards the bus. If Li Qiang stops driving the bus when he feels hurt by his leg, there will be no accident happened. The second sequence about Dr. Zhang Si diagnosed and deformed. He thinks Li Qiang needs to have an operation to eliminate the congestion in his right leg and said the price is about 50,000. After hearing the price, the emotion of Li Qiang is down and lives under a medium shot. So if Zhang Si did not deform Li Qiang, there would be no accident that happened. The third sequence is bullying and calling the police. Under a low-key tone, Zhang Si witnesses the bullying and calls the police after Wang Yiwei abusing him. The close-up shot to the phone shows the police number. If Wang Yiwei did not beat up the classmate, Zhang Si won't call the police. Thus Wang Yiwei won't flee and there will be no accident happened. The last sequence shows Wang Yiwei stealthily substitute the lottery ticket for another. Background music races when the assistant comes to stand in front of the customers. A close-up shot describes the action of Wang Lei. After Wang Lei said, "I'm sorry that you did not win the prize," to Li Qiang, he lives under a disappointing emotion. If Wang Lei did not steal lottery ticket, Li Qiang will have money to cure his leg. The accident may be avoided.
There are three main key messages in this film. The element we can easily get from this is the domino effect. The four main characters' experiences seems pretty irrelevant, but when they are placed like a domino, they actually cause a chain reaction and have an unimaginable consequence. Secondly, in the story, Li Qiang holding a lucky psychology that it will be okay to conceal his health condition this time. Zhang Si also think duplicate another patient will be fine. Wang Lei break his promise to steal Li Qiang's lottery prize again because he doesn't believe this time he has to pay. If it is the domino effect cause an unimaginable consequence, then the idea of leaving things to chances finally make this outcome a tragedy. Although the plot moves unexpectedly, the experience itself actually can happen in real life. These are some news articles about car accidents, school bullying, bribe, lottery fraud, family shaping children's lives, illegally profiting, which are exactly the things that the main characters did. We can see bus crash in Quanzhou caused by driver with epileptic seizure, 5 million lottery prize collected by the shop owner fraudulently. Like Li Qiang and Wang Lei, not to mention countless bullying and bribing social news. When these stories, which have high credibility, constructed in a novel way, we see an outcome which is out of our imagination. This makes the story surreal, which allow the key messages I mentioned before to express itself. And that is all about Crash Impossible. Thank you for your attention.